Tottenham TV, beautiful fans out there, viewers and listeners, that I'm not saying when I say this I don't want signings, okay, just to be clear, but there's not that significant drop-off like there has been in previous seasons, as Maka touches upon there about the squad. Last night you've got the likes of Dragishin coming in there, for example, as a player that you don't feel as worried as what you did, with no disrespect, when Eric Dyer and Davinson Sanchez were coming in at centre-back. There's that confidence that we're not as, dropping a significant level with that. Again, even like with the options we've got out wide. So I think, what, the only thing that does concern me at the moment, and we don't know Mickey's extent of his injury with his hamstring. We're going to be honest and say it doesn't look good. Let's not kid around the bush. It doesn't look good. He, at the end, was very much, I think, looked very disappointed at the end. He was clapping the fans. But
Did he poo himself? I mean, have you seen that? It's
weird.
I've
seen it. I don't think it's... everyone's saying that. I think it's just a bit of dirt that fell out of his shorts.
No, weird. He was like having a little touch and a scratch or whatever, and all of a sudden this thing comes out. You're thinking, "Hey, mate, you just have a turnout."
It's you're opening the dog shit on the pitch. God, come on.
He shits when he wants. He shits when he wants. He shits when he wants.
If it turns out that was a shit and he hasn't got an injury, I'll be delighted. I couldn't really care less, boys. I'd take that all day long. He's done his, he's done that. And it's not an injury, but I think the concern is that my only worry with the aspect of Mickey is that I read a stat yesterday. I think that's the 4th time already at Tottenham in which he's pulled up from a hamstring issue. That's a big, big concern because he is absolutely fundamental to the way that Spurs want to play. So my only worry with that is just in terms of long term, if this is the way we're going to be playing under Ange, we are going to have to go out and, in my opinion, identify somebody. I'm not saying you're going to get a clone of Mickey van der Ven or a player in that, calibre, but you are, I think, going to have to find somebody that plays a similar role to Mickey that allows you to be able to continue playing your way, because we can't afford a situation where, now we've seen it again. We're at a similar point of last season when Mickey done that big hamstring issue. If you remember now, we're 10, 11 games in. That's a concern about the left centre.
It's an identical time, isn't it? It's virtual. I said that to Colt.
Yeah, 10 games in. So 9 games in.
That's what I mean. That position is so crucial and fundamental to the way Spurs want to play that's my only concern. They are going to have to, I think, Spurs identify another profile of centre-back that they can hopefully nurture, and it might be Vuskovic. Ben, I know you're absolutely raving over every time you do your loan roundups on him. That's the only thing I'm worried about with Mickey. Love him as a defender, but the problem is when we do play such a high line, and at times, these defenders are having to cover the width for the 6-yard box, those hamstrings are going to go at times, and that was last night fairly innocuous. So let's hope it's nothing too serious.
Yeah, did you see though? Like he had a slight tug on his hamstring before the game even started, as they were coming out before the game, and I'm like, if he was feeling something before the game, like how the hell is he on that pitch to start the game? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me.
Maybe he didn't say anything, right? This is the thing, like we can point fingers or whatever, but maybe he thought, I'll be all right, I'll just run it off. But maybe it was Florian Mania, old Radu's agent. Maybe he's come out and started to put some stuff in Mickey's hamstring, so is playing.
Gave him a little dead leg before the game, a little knee to the thigh.
And he don't sensationalise, boys, eh? He don't sensationalise.
Oh, do you think we can handle it though? Because I don't think he's going to be out for too long. I think if you believe the rumours, they're saying between a week to 4 weeks or something for Mickey van der Ven. And if it is 4 weeks, that means he's back for the Man City away game, which means he misses the league games of Aston Villa and Ipswich with an international break after that. So it's not exactly the worst thing in the world, is it?
No, it might help. It might just change that high line slightly. I know Ricky loves the high line derby between Villa and Spurs, as he nicknamed it. But it may just change that high line a little bit, mightn't it? Because like I said earlier in the show, we definitely dropped 10 yards, maybe 15 yards off yesterday, and we might end up doing a similar sort of thing. Because let's be fair about Villa, they've got some massive pace in attack. And I was working actually last year. I didn't actually go to the game, which was a weird one for me. But we absolutely battered them, didn't we?
Part-timer, Mackie, part-timer.
I mean, you could not make the stuff up. We owe them for that as well. I know we got revenge at their place, but we do need to go and turn them over. And again, the league table, we're talking about the league table, so early doors, but I keep saying in my head, I do look at league table all the time. I'm a nightmare. I get it out and I think, oh, what can that? I'm a nightmare. I do. And I'm thinking, you look at the Brighton game, you look at the Palace game, whatever, and you think, Jesus, man, we're second in the league. Do you know what I mean? We, that sort of thing. And I know you can't think like that, but you go and turn over Villa at the weekend. That's obviously a 6-pointer. So all of a sudden, they're running away with the top 4 and whatever, and all of a sudden we're 2 points behind them, and we've had a shocker. Like we've drew to Leicester, and we've lost to Newcastle, and Arsenal have done us, and we've been crap, and we're 2 points behind the best Villa team in the world ever.
I just want to say though, on Villa, I think it's really important we make this point. And look, to be fair, like I said it on our show in the week. I've won for me the biggest game in a week. I can't sit here and lie and say to you that Man City wasn't the biggest game of my week personally. Every fan will have their differences of opinions on that. But I do want to put some context to the fact that Villa are coming off the back of a damaging defeat for their fans, going out the back of the Carabao Cup. This is the same. It makes me laugh. This trophy stigma around Tottenham. Villa haven't won a trophy before us. You know what I mean?
96.
96.
Yeah. So, like I say, Villa, to be fair...
Never mind a trophy. They were in the bloody championship a few years ago, Aston Villa, and now they're finishing higher than us.
I think it's really important. They're unbeaten away from home, I think, nearly for 2 months. So this is not going to be an easy game for Tottenham. And you add on to it, we've got the situation around Van der Ven. Werner come off with a slight... it looked like that... Again, hamstring issue. Romero wasn't risk due to fatigue. So I think what we have to bear in mind is that you are going to see a Spurs side on Sunday that have really been through the ringer in terms of that City game. You saw the effort, commitment, desire put in. So I think it's really important we make that point that, look, we all want to go to the stadium and see Spurs beat Villa, but it won't be an easy game.
No, what's interesting about that, Rick, Ben and Sim, is like you talk about Werner going off with an injury or whatever, and now so,
how are we going to cope? How are we going to cope?
2 days ago, we'd have been clapping him off like, yes. The way football is, the way fans are, it's like our result. We don't have to try and pick Werner now. Now we're going, that could be a difficult one.
I think it was like Wilson.
We're not fickle much, eh? We're not fickle as fans.
Wilson's got this setback as well. Odegaard's got this setback, so hopefully Sonny will be back as well for Villa. But I just want to make that point that I think we can't afford losing our heads after that. That's not going to be an easy game, Villa. And I'm not saying we should have a negative mindset going into that, but that is going to be a really tough game. They're unbeaten for the last couple of months, doing really well under Emery. They want to have a response after the Carabao Cup. We've just come after a high on the back of our result, and I think it would have taken a lot out of the boys. So expect a tough game.
28 away games unbeaten, Rick. 28 games. Do you know who that was? Man City, baby. And we just...
Well, we
are the ruiners.
I just can't underestimate Villa. They're a really, really good side. I know they've gone out the cup, but they've started the league really well. You have to say that. I think it's actually Aston Villa's best ever start to a Premier League season so far. Really,
but I back us against anyone at home, Rick. I really don't care. I think we're a really good home side. I think apart from the Arsenal game, we've pretty much battered everyone that has come to our stadium so far. And I know Villa are obviously a very good team, but we battered them 4-0 at Villa Park last season. And at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, we should have beaten them last year as well, where Bentancur got that injury. We should have been 3-4-0 up in that first half. So I think, I mean, it's obviously going to be a difficult game, but I've got no question about it that we can go and win.
Some of their away performances as well, they have got a bit lucky. They drew 2-2 with Ipswich, where it could have easily gone either way. Against Fulham, it was Fulham missed a penalty at 1-1. It could have easily been a Fulham going into the lead, but Villa instead they missed it, and Villa went on to win. So like they've had a few lucky ones apart, obviously, but you need that away from home. I'm not taking away from them, just saying it's not but like they've been incredible away from home.
Wish we could get a bit of luck away from home.
Yeah, we don't get any luck. When it comes to what you're saying about obviously Van der Ven being missing and Dragic coming in, obviously it's obviously better than last year, Dragic coming in compared to Emerson and Davis that we had last year. And cast your eye back to the Villa game at Villa Park last season when we won 4-0 at 0-0. Van der Ven went off injured and Dragic came on, and we ended up winning 4-0 even though the game was at 0-0. So we can cope with Dragic, I think. We'll just have to make sure that he's still not quite there on the ball, I think it's fair to say. I think he's still quite awkward when he's got the ball at his feet, and that needs to be worked on massively. But
however, to caveat though, after that Villa game, what did we go and do? We went and got battered by Fulham at Craven Cottage.
We're playing Villa on the weekend. We're not playing Fulham at Craven Cottage, so that's the main thing.
Oh man, I just think it'll be an interesting period now for Spurs, because I think the fans now have got something to really grit their teeth and bite in. And I say grit their teeth and bite into, but we're in a really good place now. To be where we are now, still in all cup competitions. Let's be honest about it, boys. How many times have we seen Spurs go out of the Carabao at the start of a September October period, and just naturally you then start the season maybe become a little bit disenchanted. You start to look for problems. Whereas now we're still in all 4 cup competitions to at least December towards the end of the year. Beat United and we go into the start of January still in all 4 cup competitions and fighting on all 4 fronts. It's I always say it's a really, really exciting season. When you go into January, February and you're playing still for everything, as a fan, that's what you love. You love going to games, you love talking about Tottenham, and you love being involved in all the competitions. And look, that's what we want to be. We want to be a team. I made this point earlier. We want to be a team that is ambitious to win. And that's my biggest point. We know we've got issues upstairs. I've made that clear in what I feel about upstairs in terms of the hierarchy at Tottenham. But the manager and the players, I want there to be an emphasis on that group of winning. Okay, forget what's happening upstairs in terms of what their ambition is or what they're looking to do on and off the pitch. In terms of the playing squad, I want us to have that vision of winning. And it feels like with all the interviews I hear from Dom, I think he said it before the game, from Maka mentioned Decky, there seems to be a real emphasis on this group. They want to win. And please God, Ange Postecoglou is the man to lead us there.
Absolutely, and it's better that you said that than anyone else said it. So I'm happy we can end it there.
What Ricky was saying about I'm just looking at our League Cup wins over since we beat Chelsea in the 2008 final. It's such slim pickings when it comes to big wins in this competition. We beat Arsenal at the Emirates and we beat Chelsea on penalties, and that's pretty much it. Since then, that's 17 years of League Cup games, and we've barely had big wins in the last few seasons.
Beat Arsenal 5-1, didn't we?
That was after the. That was before. Sorry, I'm saying since that League Cup win in 2008.
That was that same year. Yeah,
that was 17 years, 16 years ago though.
2008, boys. 2008 was a fantastic year for winners. Yeah, for winners. 2008. Not only did we win the League Cup, but your good self here goes and wins the TV show The Apprentice. It was a vintage year, team. Vintage year. I cannot wait for us to go and win something else. I can't be.
Mackie, you got to get yourself on some other TV show this year so you can win yourself.
Mate. So that's it. That's it, mate. I tell you what.
Britain's got talent for Macca. Come on.
Maybe this collaboration that we're doing is going to win us trophies. It's going to win us trophies for We Are Tottenham TV, for Last One on Spurs as well, and that's what we want. We want to just progress, and I think I do agree with you about the winnings. The power I spoke about this on the Last One on Spurs a week ago, about the corridors of power in Chelsea and their winners and that sort of stuff. But winning starts with doing the basics, the fundamentals in the right way, and that is what Ange has put down, the foundations to be able to. Now, the other key thing is when these managers come out and say, these players come out and say, we want to compete. It's not a lack of ambition. It's the ability to say, if we're competing, we then know something can happen. We just talked about it. It's fine margins. At the end of the day, that League Cup final that we sacked Jose for 6 days before it, and then Mason was in charge, and we lost 1-0 to City. We only lost 1-0. It was a drab game, and we all know it, right? But we only lost 1-0. At the end of the day, and it's kind of like something that changes or turns, a penalty, a red card. All of a sudden, we won the trophy, and all of a sudden, we don't have this tag anymore of this trophy. And you make an amazing point about Villa. If they want to be big, and they should be hurting after that League Cup defeat because they should be wanting to go for them sorts of trophies. The Brentfords, the Villas, the Evertons, the Spurs. And I don't want to do us, disservice. But they are the trophies that we need to be going after because they're the realistic one. We're not going to win the league. I know I've banned and whatever should we, but we're not going to win the league yet. Maybe we might, but we're not going to yet. But
next year,
definitely win the Carabao Cup, can't we, team? We can definitely win the Carabao Cup. So let's go and win it.
All right. Well, big up to you two. I think we're